All right, so this is part two. We just did the who, what, when, and now we're doing who, what, when, where. This is the four W of the five W's. Where is the W word? So, where did this all take place, Erica? Like, where were you in your life? Where were you financially? Where were you spiritually? Where was your mindset? Where was your body physically? Where where did you travel? Um, where did you go to hide to get away from it all? Where did you find solace in whatever it took for you to be happy again? Where did you find yourself? Where did you lose yourself? Where did you find God? Where did you lose the devil? Where did you find the devil? Where did you lose God? Where is the place that is the most comfortable for you during that time and after?
Hmm.
Where is the place that you would feel you were the loneliest? And where do you see yourself going these days and beyond? Go for it.
Well, well, I could say where, um, where I was many different places. Where it started was in Connecticut, with the bullshit starting from when I was young. But then, like I said, I moved on to New York and to New Jersey, and all of that stuff followed me because of the fact that uh, Gloria was addicted to money. And at the time, as I started getting a little older, I also started getting full-time jobs. And what she would do is play the whole, oh my God, I need your help. I need help. Oh, can you pay for this? Pay for that. And I end up coming out of my own money two or three five folds over from paying for certain shit for her, for paying for her home taxes that she should have done. I paid $3,500 twice, so that right there is 7,000. And I was living by myself at the time, and I still was paying for her shit. Um, so majority of the things that happened to me monetarily from Gloria was when I was in New Jersey living in Newark, and I was by myself. So it was all already just me taking care of myself. And so this one particular day, and I'm actually gonna be answering one of the W's again with this answer. Um, when I when I was about 20, it don't even fucking matter, between the age of 27, 28, or maybe 29. I remember her calling me one day, and she's like, I need help. I need help. I need you to help me. And I'm like, well, what is the problem? What's going on? So she proceeds to tell me that she was behind in something and she really, really needed help. Um, and so what happened was dad called me and was like, oh, you gonna help your mama? And I'm like, well, what the fuck does she want? Like, what do y'all need help with? So apparently she done fucked up once again. And her solution to her problem through me, now here's where it gets interesting and juicy. We're talking about a mother.
Hmm.
The light in the garage just went off, by the way, when I said that.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
what her solution was that every time I get paid from my job, I was to let her take out my check, basically. for her,
Hmm.
and she would leave me with about $100 for 2 weeks. That included me buying groceries. That included, in her mind, and that included me getting to and from work. I worked in a whole nother state. I worked in New York City, but I lived in Newark, New Jersey. So I had to take the train. I had to quit doing my physical fitness at the boxing gym because I couldn't afford it anymore. And she literally wanted me to give her my check. Unfortunately, because I was being an idiot, I went along with it thinking that, oh, I'm helping my mom. And that lasted um, for at least 3 years. Every time I got paid, literally, I used to look in my account. If I got paid on a Friday, like, well, I got paid on the 1st and 15th or whatever. No, I got paid every 2 weeks on a Thursday evening, I believe. And I couldn't do anything anymore. I couldn't hang out. I couldn't do shit. I literally had to just go home. I'm living in this big city as a young lady. Uh, I would I would look at my account, and she literally took out the money like immediately. I didn't even have time to look at my check. The problem is that prior to that, she also coaxed me into taking out all of my 401k. At the time, it was $6,000, and she wanted me to get the whole thing out for her. She needed it, and I didn't even know that you can do that. And I said, "You can do that?" She was like, "Yeah, just call them and find out how much is in there, and just and they'll write you a check." So that's what happened, and I ended up having to pay for it immediately. I was literally paying $150 a month on the money that I borrowed because I took the money out early. It was a penalty, and I had to pay for it. In the midst of that, I didn't even get into talking about fucking Vincent and his fucking kids, but I was paying back the IRS. I forgot the monthly payment, but I had owed the IRS at that time $10,000. So, and I was getting wage garnishment because I couldn't pay my student loan bill. So those three things were already taken out of my check, and now here she come taking out the rest. And it was so hard for me to live. It was so hard for me to concentrate, so hard for me to do anything. I literally was like about to have a breakdown, a nervous breakdown at 28 years old, 29 years old. Um, I want to give a shout out to Tracy Murphy because she was there for me all the whole step of the way. One of the questions you asked me earlier is like, when did I hit rock bottom? What made me cry? And the day that my lights got cut off because I couldn't pay because of her taking all my money out, and I would not be able to pay my bills because she needed my money so bad. And I remember the day that my freaking lights got cut off and I was in shambles. And I went to Tracy's house and I cried my heart out. And she was like, "Don't worry, I got you. You could stay here." And I literally stayed at Tracy's house for over a week because I couldn't get my lights back on until Dum Dum gave me my money back or gave me the money to get it on. And I was just so dismayed. I just felt like, what the heck is going on? How am I gonna like live my life? So at the same time, my cable used to get cut off like eh, every 3 weeks because I couldn't pay the cable bill. I couldn't pay my bills. I couldn't do anything. I literally was going to my change bucket in the morning time, scrummaging through pennies so I can get enough money to eat breakfast so I won't go crazy at work. The job that I had to be at for 9 fucking hours. And it was very hard. until I met Charmaine. My best friend Charmaine, she's a godsend. The devil was working through Gloria and her bullshit. The devil was beating me down. Um, the God sent Charmaine to me because Charmaine, she picked up the slack. She literally brought me like 6 months worth of things for my home. She bought me laundry detergent, soap, dishwashing liquid, cleaning supplies, like any and everything you would need to live in your house. She did that for me. Not only that, but she got me to and from work. And she brought me stuff to get, I ain't gonna say, but she brought stuff for me to get to and from work without a problem, without a hassle, because it got out of hand. The only thing is, I didn't want to tell Charmaine what was going on with me because I knew she would have a fit because like she was using her resources to help me, thinking I'm just some broke ass fool when it was because my mother was taking my money. And so that was in New Jersey. Um, all of that stuff happened in New Jersey, and it continued on. Even when I would go to Connecticut to help out with dad or whatever, all of that was still going on. I didn't totally rectify everything until 2022 when I completely cut Gloria off monetarily. And it took that long from when I first got my first full-time job in 2003 to 2022. So for all of those years, she was always getting money from me until I completely cut her off. And yeah, that happened through Connecticut, New York, New Jersey.
Hmm.
Yep.
All righty. Wow. So the last one. Why? Why did this happen? You know, why did Gloria do this to you? Why did she feel the need to do this and continue her reckless ways with finances and money? Why did she pick you to do this? Why did she not change after the first time? Why did she allow others to dictate to her how she should raise her kids? Why did she not take responsibility later on in life? Why is she a narcissist? Why does she mess up every year of her life with finances since the beginning of time for her? Why did she feel the need to brag to others about who she is and what she can do? Why does she feel like she's better than anybody else? And why do you think she loves herself? Or why do you think she does not love herself?
I'm about to say.
Why why when she did all this, she just didn't pass early on in life? Why did you have to go through all this for so long before realizing that either you realizing or her realizing that this was not the way to go? Why ask why, you know? But
I I
nonetheless,
think
this
I
is still why.
always realized in a way. I just didn't know that I was realizing. And why did she do that? Because number one is selfishness. Um, she didn't have anybody that had to hold her accountable because a kid can't make you hold yourself accountable. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
A kid can't make you realize how much you're fucking up until you do realize. And a kid can't tell you you're doing wrong, you're doing bad, you're doing stuff you're not supposed to another human being. That being a kid, me. Um, she. Why is she the way she is? I have no idea. That would be for God to answer that question. Um, she just is how she is, and well, I could say the reason why she kept doing it is because she kept getting away with it. And so I want to go back a little bit. When I was 17, um, I got in trouble for trying to be a booster. I was
Mm,
trying to boost some kicks out of the store, and I got in trouble.
mm,
And so I had to go to court and shit to do some community service. And I did that just because, I just wanted to see if I could do it, if I can get away with it. Just, you know, I was always such a good girl. Wanted to do something bad. I wanted to be like Rihanna, good girl going bad. And the problem is, the funny thing is that Dad wasn't as mad at me. He kind of felt bad because Mom was acting like a raging lunatic. And I'll never forget, this is 1997, by the way. I'll never forget her telling me how embarrassed of me she was. And yeah, it was because of that, but I took it as she meant that in the whole sense of the word, of just me, period. She was embarrassed by me. Now, I ain't gonna front, I was a little cutie when I was 17, and I had me a cute ass boyfriend. Boy, that nigga was so. Jason was beautiful when I was 17, okay? He was gorgeous. And we just fit like peanut butter and milk chocolate. We just looked good together. And I think that was a thing for her that kind of was like annoying. Like, I'm taking over that reign. And she was getting older. And so she had to say something that was gonna be like, well, I don't really like your ass. And she used to even say that. She used to say that to people, how, yeah, I didn't used to like Erica. I didn't like your ass either. What the fuck are you talking about? Who says that? And so when I got in trouble, she told me how embarrassed she was. And she was like, you know how embarrassing this is to me? Not trying to find out, like, why did you do it? What can we work on to make sure you don't do that again? Because it's not like if I wanted some sneakers that she wouldn't have bought them for me. Or better yet, I can bought them myself. I had a job. She never wanted to find out what the hell happened, like what was going on. She just literally told me she was embarrassed by me. And I think I held on to that for so long. Like I was known to myself as having a mother that was truly embarrassed by me. So when I got 25, before I got my own apartment without having any roommates, um, I got arrested for supposedly getting in a fight with someone who I thought was a friend. Um, and they were just hating on me because pretty much everybody I know hates on me, family, friends. But this fucking bitch took it too far, where she went to the cops and said that I basically snuffed her ass. And I told the cops, I was like, that's a damn lie, because if I had whooped her ass, that bitch would be in the hospital. Y'all would have been talking to her from the hospital bed. So basically, the whole lied on me and said that we had a fight and I beat her up and that she had visible scars. The problem is with that lying ass story, I wasn't even in the state of New York. I was in Virginia with Christine. And that, because I went to jail and had to keep going to court, that was another layer of embarrassment, because now Gloria done told the world. She done told her family and all these other fucking assholes that had nothing to do with me. And from there, I felt again, here we go again, not even 10 years later. I'm an embarrassment. And so that is the reason why I initially agreed for her to take my fucking check, because I was kind of trying to get back good in the family, I guess. Not saying that it was that of importance to me, but I had been going through so much stuff. Not to mention becoming an instant mother at 22. I was already fucking stressed out. Um, and then too, because I just wanted to be of help. So why did she do that to me? Because she's selfish. And that literally is like sums it up perfectly. She's selfish. Why is she narcissistic? Why does she want to throw who she is in front of people's faces? Because of how she was treated in her life by her own mother. Her mother was a wishy-washy person, so I've heard. One minute she's nice, the next minute she's not, and probably made Gloria feel like shit. Gloria's family was never loving towards her either. They were all users, backstabbers. They smile in your face all the time. That
Mhm.
song. They want to
Mhm.
take your place.
Mhm.
Backstabbers. And
Mhm.
when they noticed her doing good in life, as she was doing well, they took it upon themselves to do anything in their power to help her lose that, to help her fuck that up, even if that meant ruining her own daughter's life with her shenanigans. So she got away with it because she was able to get away with it for so long. And I didn't fully put my foot down until it was too late, until my life was flipped upside down, until I end up getting hurt at work and not being able to take care of things that I used to take care of. And so that's what stopped initially stopped her from doing shit, but then she ended up, you know, going nuts and doing even worse shit in the future, but pertaining to that time frame, um, she had to be stopped because I put a stop to it. But the reason why she did all of that, the main reason is because she was able to. She got away with it for so long because her selfishness took over. It took over the part where you're supposed to think rational, and her rationale was whatever I can get. That's why she's still like that. There's nothing that's ever going to change in her. She's incapable of changing. This is who she is at the core. This is her. And she's just like that. I don't have an actual explanation, like a deep explanation of why, because I'm not a psychologist, and I don't even think a psychologist has the explanation, because they're just people too. People do people things, and she's one of them. And she's one that hasn't learned. If I think that if she was left alone, that's probably when she would realize. But then even that would be too late.
Wow. Okay. Whew. Let's see where we are.
Mm,
Oh, cool.
mm,
All
mm.
right. Well, those are the five W's. We got 7 minutes left before 30 minutes. Now for the conclusion. First by Erica, then Lamar will give his conclusion. Go ahead, Erica.
Well, in my conclusion, I'm not going to take long because I think I've spelled everything out. Um, in my conclusion, I believe that Gloria is who she is. Gloria's been who she is. Gloria did not do the work of changing or changing for the better. Um, she's in a mental jail, so to speak.
Mm,
She hadn't had enough love in her life, from her family life to her relationships, even being married. She was never loved properly, and she wasn't strong enough to love herself and get over that. And she hasn't
mm,
done the work, and she can't do the work because when a person like her doesn't understand the type of work that needs to be done, it just won't be done. So, in conclusion, all in all, I do want to say I'm not trying to disclose because I've had a lot of fun times with her. I just didn't like what she did to me. Uh, so I think that if a lot of the things that she did do to me, if she didn't do to me, the offer was still stands of who she is to herself, but she wouldn't have been that to me. And because she did what she did to me, she is who I know she is.
Mm,
And in conclusion, for real, I do hope that she does continue on, and I want her to find some kind of balance and some type of happiness in her life, because she is older. She's almost 78 years old. She could have another 20 years, 30 years, 2 years. We don't know. But in that time, even though I was mad at what she did to me, she's still my mother. And I don't want her to live the rest of her life in a scoundrel type being within herself. I would hope that she knows how to find mental peace and get out of that mental jail. But I don't know what type of things would help her do that. Um,
hmm
but yeah, I guess I could say that's my conclusion, at least for now. I might have a part two conclusion one day, but for now,
hmm
that's my conclusion. Is that you know one day she'll seek to find the truth within herself, but who knows, because she is a know-it-all and she doesn't know enough to know it all. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's my
Okay.
conclusion.
Okay. Well, my conclusion is as the brother of Erica and listening to the all five W's and getting more, a little bit more information than I remember. um, it's still a very awful, awful thing for any human to do to another human, much less a mother to the daughter. It's almost like it was hateful jealousy that Erica was
Mm,
even born, you know?
mm.
And it's just like hate and jealousy in the same sentence is just a double whammy, but has nothing to do with Erica. That's all internal. She hated herself. And the jealousy was the fact that Erica, she saw a better person when she looked at Erica than when she saw in the mirror. Really. She saw somebody better. And that's where the hate
Mm,
comes in. So
mm-hmm.
all the people that have haters out there, just remember, you know, like I said, well, like they said, for any finger that's pointed to you, there's usually three to four fingers pointed back at the original motherfucker, the original piece of shit person. You're awesome. Anybody listening to this is awesome. You don't have to judge others to be awesome. You're awesome in your own right. Focus on yourself. And what Gloria did to her daughter and took advantage all those years, she should be crying in her grave at this point. But the higher power has a way of doing certain things. I call this a prolonged suffering that she's going through because when she's talking to you face to face on the phone, when you hear her, that's when you hear quote unquote happiness. Not at all. She's so stuck in misery that she has to put up a front that even her
Mm,
front looks funny, you know?
mm,
So when you have people like that, just know, concentrate on yourself, internalize your happiness, internalize what makes you resonate, what makes you not just happy, but what makes you flourish. You don't need anybody to tell you otherwise. You don't need to be validated, vindicated, praised. You can look in the mirror and do all that yourself. Matter of fact, you don't have to do anything. Just look in the mirror. You don't have to look in the mirror. Just be you. Just be an entity of positivity. Don't worry. Babies, animals, they all going to feel it. That's how you know you won. So Gloria can go to hell, and she's already there. And yeah, that's my mom. But I don't want to. I don't want to claim a mother that does that. And that's facts.
mm,
She's a very awful person for what she did. The only thing is she's 80. But no, I don't care if she's 800. It's okay. The way we combat that is we focus on ourselves and we internalize happiness to the fullest extent, internally and outwardly. And that's my conclusion on this. Sorry, Erica, you went through that, but, or I'm not even gonna say but,
All good.
you are an incredible person
Thank you.
because of everything. You know, I'm not going to say because of that, because of everything you endured, everything you saw,
Hmm.
everything you had to make, all the decisions. So that's my conclusion. Where are we? Come on, baby. Oh, 30 minutes and 29 seconds. All right, Erica, anything else real fast?
No, I think we covered all bases. I'm curious to hear the whole thing over again because
Yep, I'm going
yeah,
to send it
it
to you now.
kind of had
Can I
me
stop it?
forgetting. Yeah, yeah,
I'm
you
gonna,